Oh my god. All right. All right.
Base
So, we
raise
guys,
more gigs.
guys good with starting the podcast here then, I guess? And this, I'll just cut in. I can cut in around here or whatever. Episode 1 of the podcast. Everybody want to introduce themselves? Start with, I guess, to my right, Mezzy. You want to go first?
Yo, what's up? I'm
Yeah.
Matthew.
Oh,
Oh
there goes his
god.
Oh
voice.
god.
Discord decided to go nope, so I guess we're gonna start lower with Nelly.
Hello everyone, I'm Nelly. Um,
Man,
my
Discord
audio
is
isn't fucked.
all right. Fair enough. You want any background you want to tell us? I think you're the only other game design major here, right?
Taken 4 years of game development classes and an avid gamer.
An avid gamer. I think we're all gamers here.
Emphasis on
Gamers.
gay.
Yeah. And then we have Turtle Power down on the bottom right there.
What's up?
As the what are you exactly?
Some cross between a fox, a dog, and a cat.
Fair enough. I love that the whole time it's going sideways as it's trying to decide what it is. I don't know. Mezzy, is your audio working fine now?
I don't know, is it?
Try leaving and rejoining here.
Oh, you know what? It's coming from my camera.
T-Pain, bro.
Tome Origato, Mr. Roboto.
And
How's that?
there you go. Now you're back to good. Yeah,
It's
you're good.
my camera for whatever reason.
Just your
I'm
camera.
and
Did you apply a filter to your camera? You look mosaic as fuck right now.
Me?
Yeah, you got like it's like squares everywhere. Is it just
is
me?
it that?
Is it
It's
you guys?
it's the light coming through on the back. That's the support frame for the green screen. Right? Like
No, like your
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
camera is super pixelated. Is that just me?
I can count the individual pixels on a
I
screen.
mean
right
that's
now.
how you
Yeah.
guys are for me, so
Really?
I think
Really?
that's
Okay.
I think that's normal, yeah.
Must be Discord then. Let's
Fucking
also
Discord.
do.
I don't know. I'm a gamer and I don't do anything else with my life. So
That's fair. That's pretty pretty accurate.
I think that's pretty close with everybody. So
Fair enough. And for my background, I'm also a game design major along with Nelly. I guess I'm finishing 4 years here as well. Everybody, I know specifically for myself, my main interest is in survival games and first-person shooters. So those would be the games that I probably primarily talk about when it comes to the podcast. Nelly, as far as I actually don't know what your preferred game types are. To be honest, you play so many.
I'm all over the place.
Yeah, you're everywhere, man.
Mostly story ranged games, like all first person games, RPG games, or MMOs. I've been doing a lot of MMOs lately.
Gotcha. Ryan or Mezzy, either one of you guys?
go for it.
I play all over the place. I mean, I'm an avid sim gamer. FPS. You know,
He's
pretty
more
much
of a sim gamer.
anything that gets thrown at me.
It's true. I
I
have
know
seen
Turtle.
you. Good.
I know Turtle is like a sim gamer. I see every time I see him on, he's either playing like some form of a sim game or like a survival game. I don't think I've seen him play that for fun outside of other games.
It's because I'm a survivor.
Oh.
I'm a survivor.
Yeah, Destiny's Child, just like that.
There you go. There you go. That's true. I think usually when I see a game that like not an FPS game, but like a colony sim or something like that, I usually think of Ryan. So I usually ask him if he's seen it or played it. That's true. Mezzy is actually very similar to me. That's also why we get along so well. Is primarily survival and FPS games.
Mhm.
You have a few other games under your belt though that you like to play. Like recently, I actually found out how many years you put into League of Legends.
Yeah, I started playing League of Legends in 9th grade for like I don't know, probably 4 or 5 years consistently every day, like 6, 7 hours a day. Unhealthy as hell. Probably put 400 or 500 bucks into the game over the years too.
Oh lord.
So
Yeah,
there's that.
my game of high school was not League of Legends but Smite, and Nelly knows that because he went to school with me actually. But yeah, that was multiple hours a day, all day
I
long
tried
for
to
Smite.
get him into League.
Try.
Yeah,
I
tried.
don't know. Smite's kind of like the better man's league because it's just skill shots.
It's pretty much all skill shots. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of stuff that
Like
auto
if you can't land
tracks.
skill shots, you get shit on.
That's true. That's true. It is. But I have recently gotten into League, and I do enjoy it. I think it's a lot of fun. I know Turtle is looking into potentially getting into it again. Is that right or no?
I don't know. It's gonna take a lot for me to get back into that game.
We saw the eye roll there.
We'll see.
We saw. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know about that one. All right. So, as for the podcast itself, I don't know. Everybody kind of wants to talk about different things, but primarily for me, I'm thinking the podcast will most likely be about the gaming industry itself, talking about the gaming industry, talking about games, good and bad things about games. And then I think Nelly, you were talking about this, and I was actually interested in it. And I've actually had some people recommend this to me as well, but doing interviews as well. And then you said you
Yeah.
had a couple of people that you thought would be good for interviews.
Yeah, I have an uncle, cousin, something at Bungie.
Gotcha. Did
I
he
have
work
two
there during the Halo time or after
He worked
Halo?
there. He's still there, but he worked there during Halo time. He's been there for 10 years now.
All right. I guess that'll
Um,
be an interesting topic.
Not quite the good Halo years, but I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard
Yeah,
to
I
know
mean-
those good Halo gear guy people. Um, and then I've got a lot of professors that have either worked at Gearbox. I know someone at ZeniMax who does like Elder Scrolls Online.
Gotcha.
Also been talking to like a lot of Riot devs. Josh, the guy that we have in our Discord, or had in the other Discord, the League player.
I did not know
Josh
we
Johnson.
had.
Who?
His name is Josh No Drake or something like that. I think that's
Josh
his
No Drake.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
gotcha. Yeah, yeah.
Sam
Wait,
Powell's husband.
is he
Yeah.
a Riot dev?
He's not a Riot dev, but he's a Riot partner. I don't know what that.
Oh,
League
okay.
partner.
Gotcha. Okay.
And,
I have seen him playing a lot of that.
I kind of got introduced to like two Riot. I think they're community managers or something like that. They're not actual game developers, but they're in the aspect of working for Riot. So that's kind of cool.
Gotcha. Well, we'll have to bring him on then. And Ryan, well, maybe not him, but you know his wife, right? Is that who you know? Your mic's muted, by the way. We got a mic mute
Okay,
there.
well, there we go. Yes, I know his wife.
Okay.
We-
All right. So.
She and I work together.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay.
Not anymore, but
Yeah. That's fair. All right. I mean, that's really it. For I guess what the podcast is gonna be. It's really just four guys chilling out talking about video games. To be honest, man. But it could be.
Three boys, one dad.
3 boys, 1 dad, man. It's whatever we want it to be. Honestly. Actually, has anybody interested? I know Ryan, you've played. Is anybody interested in the New World?
I haven't heard of it.
The Amazon game that they're coming out with. It's a MMORPG, right? I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, MMORPG, and they've been doing. Mello said they're doing a world preview right now. And it looks really good actually. Like is it in beta or is it in alpha right now?
I think it's in beta right now.
I think it's in beta. Okay.
It's only open for like a week though, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's open until the 4th September.
September. Okay, September 4th. I have seen like Summit and I think Shroud and Lyric. I think he was playing it as well. A lot of people have been playing it. A lot of those like big streamers have been playing it, and
Yeah.
like it looks. I mean, for a beta, it's got a lot in it, and it is very well polished so far. That's for sure.
Looks pretty good.
Yeah, you taking a
Kind of
look
looks
at it right now?
medieval.
Yeah.
I've
It's
got it pulled up on my other monitor.
it's kind of a medieval feel to it. And I think one thing that a lot of people have been complimenting that I've been hearing is the animations for fighting and all that kind of stuff look apparently seem really good, and from what I've seen they look pretty nice. So
Yeah, from where it's at, I would say it's very polished.
you think so?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Gotcha. So I'm interested in it, that's for sure. I know there's a building aspect to it as well, so it's, I want to say, a little more in depth than I feel like the average MMO might be. Simply because of the building aspect and some of the skill things that it looks like they have, but guess we'll have to see. I haven't played it or anything yet, so
Yeah, I don't feel like MMOs really have any building.
yeah.
It's like
Something,
I'm playing RuneScape right now and
Yeah.
nothing.
That's
So,
right. You jumped onto that RuneScape. Yeah, it's the old RuneScape, right? Not the new RuneScape.
Old school RuneScape, baby.
Oh man, I can't believe you got into that. It's gonna suck you in like it did
It's
Mango.
honestly terrible, but it's so brain dead that it's easy.
um,
Can't you get like banned for even auto farming now? Like that's how much of a passive game it is. But if you're like,
I don't know.
it's not something
auto
that you
firing.
I think
auto like farming.
if you
Where
have
you-
like macros and shit set up for it, then
Yeah,
yeah, I wouldn't
macroing.
imagine it wouldn't. But I don't know. I don't really
Dang.
follow any news regarding it.
He just plays it for fun.
I just play it. That's
That's
what I'm
it.
here for. I don't really
That's-
look into shit. I just play games. I try to be the best.
There you go. That's all it takes. Let's see. What was it? Probably not on this episode specifically, but I'm thinking next episode maybe. I actually like to talk about the whole. I know everybody's a little bit familiar with it just because I was talking about it with everybody, but the Dead Matter situation, and how that went down for them on the release of that game, and then might look up a few other games that had pretty bad releases, but just as a filler and like to kind of catch everybody up is they had like a countdown to release, and on the day of release the website crashed because they had like 26 million fucking like registrations trying to get into the website. The website crashed, but then there was like 2 days of silence, like no communication from the devs and stuff. And then everybody was calling, a lot of people were saying that it was a scam, and a lot of other people were saying just give them time. It was all over the place, man. But it's just from a PR perspective, like it was bad, man. So we'll talk about that next time because I think that was kind of an interesting, I'm gonna say, take for a small dev team to not really be in communication with their fans, especially for a game that was already delayed. I think like a year or two entirely. Like the alpha was supposed to originally come out in like 2018 or 19. So
Jeez.
yeah, it was. There's a lot more to it that it, ended up coming out, and they did end up clarifying everything with everybody. But I think we'll go into that. Like I said, we'll go into that more next time when we actually have some time to talk about it. But other than that, I don't really think there's any other new games coming out anytime soon. Anybody
I
know of
was
any?
looking it up the other day, and it doesn't feel like they're really coming out with anything new. It's more just polishing stuff that's already out, releasing new content, kind of like what Warzone's doing.
Yeah, yeah. Has anybody played Warzone recently?
No, it's been a minute. We've
Not
just
Yeah.
been
the
playing
update.
League.
Yeah,
And
that's
Not
right.
since it first came out.
I did see
terrible at it.
a few things about the Cold War release where they had it in Warzone, and you actually had to go through and find like this Captain Price um, figure, which then he like shouts at you, and you start to get this, I guess, countdown. And it just started going through all of the Cold War stuff. We're getting a lot of the old characters back from the original Cold War game, or what was it, Black Ops 1,
It's
I
yeah,
think?
Yeah.
it's a direct sequel from Black Ops 1.
Yeah, so we're definitely going to be seeing some old characters, and I'm really excited for that. I don't. Plus, we've got zombies coming back. I think.
Somebody mentioned zombies, and I was like, "Ooh, that'll be extremely
Zombie,
entertaining."
not
Yeah,
just zombies, but zombie Warzone.
zombie
Yeah,
Warzone. Yeah,
that sounds whack. I'm very interested to see what that comes to.
I think if that comes out, I'll be hopping back on Warzone. That's for sure.
Didn't PUBG like mess with that for a little while? Didn't they have like a zombie mode where you
They
could?
do have a zombie mode, as far as I'm aware. It's
I think PUBG is only in like customs though, right? It's not a full on.
Yeah,
you I don't know if you can queue up for like I don't know if it's a solo or duo type thing anymore. I think it is only a custom game version. But there are a lot of people who do the custom game version of it.
I didn't even know they had a custom mode to begin with. I haven't played that game in
Been a while for you, huh?
years.
yeah, it's probably been a year, so
Yeah, it's been a
Just
while for me
not
as
my
well.
style. I was into Apex, but that was just because it had such an easy shooter game style. PUBG requires actual aim skills and targeting, and I was just trash at it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I really enjoyed PUBG when it first came out, but it went downhill pretty fast. I
it was
think
so good.
it was.
So,
They just didn't listen to the community. It was too late by the
it
time
just
they did.
ruined it completely.
Yeah.
They turned it into like days. What was it? H1Z1. That's what I got from it. The vibes. Like I've loaded it up a few times with like, and the first thing that appears is like a battle pass.
Yeah,
Almost.
they added a battle pass I think it was a while ago. I don't know when exactly that actually came in, but it did come in after a while, and I think people were very mixed reactions about it. But
I
I mean,
think
with
the
how
last
many?
I haven't played that. I think the last map was that like desert map that came out. That's how long
Oh
it's
yeah,
been,
no,
the
no,
Mexico map
that
a
was about the
while.
time I left as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
God, that map was terrible.
It was so bad. They made it out to be so good too. Like it was gonna be like close quarters combats in town and stuff like that. And I was like, oh,
No, it
this
was
is
just rolling
gonna be great.
hills.
Yeah, it's just open desert, rolling hills, and I was like, this is not at all what was advertised. Yeah, I think since then they've come out. As far as I'm aware, I know that they have Sandhawk, which is like a fourth, maybe a fourth. That's exaggerated. Maybe like half the size of Erangel, the original map. So it promotes. It's like very heavy on action. Like it is a very small map. You can make it across. None of the circles are ever anything to worry about. Like that's how small the map is.
Can you pick your map yet?
No, it's all
I
random.
I'm pretty
Still
sure. I'm pretty sure the
Still
way it
random.
works, as far the last time I was on, it was like you could play Erangel or you had to pick random.
That
Yep.
sounds like
And I know that since the desert map came out, I know for a fact because even I asked for it, which was, can I choose my map? And that was it. And I still don't think they've added it, which is like, it's one of those things that's mind blowing to me of like a company not listening to the fan base where people are like, I don't want to play this map. Don't make me play this map.
yeah.
And
I
when
know,
it's
I
a
re- I
huge
never-
majority,
Yeah, it was a
it's
huge
bad.
majority. I mean, it's to the point where like you get into the desert map lobby, and people were just leaving, and the lobby would never start because people would
Yeah.
join and they'd be like, nope, and then they leave, and it would be like 60 players, 59, 60, 59, 60, and you're like, yeah, we're never gonna play this map. I was one of those people though too, so
Yeah, I think we all were.
yeah, that was a rough time, man.
That's just a simple thing. Like just create an interface that allows you to choose which map you want. I just never understood why they make it random.
You know,
It's
you would
like a
assume
balancing
that
thing.
people would have learned from CS:GO, like choosing their maps. Like, there's a reason why players choose their maps. There's maps that they like,
There's
and they
maps
don't want
that
to.
they know better. Yeah.
Yeah, yep. There's
And
no
there are
point
maps
in.
that are better designed. I mean, there's a reason that some maps in CS:GO are played above other ones is just simply because the map was designed better, and it works better in a team environment than it does maybe another map.
Yep. I know I enjoyed. I thoroughly enjoyed Sandhawk when it was added, simply because it was finally that map that I think everybody was expecting when the desert map was advertised, which was a map where you would be in combat often, and it really is. I mean, you spawn and it's just kind of like always action. You don't really
Yeah, you
stop.
don't really get a time to breathe.
Yeah, so that one's a lot of fun. It's hard to win, but it's satisfying when you win. And then if Erangel, I'm not gonna lie, their first map was like on point for gameplay wise. There was enough map that you weren't constantly in a fight, that you had some time to loot in between fights. That the circles were a danger that you needed to get away from if you were too far, and that there was enough cover and places to fight at. That it was kind of like that, perfect map for everything. And it's unfortunate that they couldn't replicate that on any of the new maps. So I think they have a snow map too, right?
Yeah, they do.
I heard that one was pretty good though. I haven't played much of it though.
I've never played it. Every
You've
time I go
never played-
back, it's the fucking desert map, dude. It's literally just the desert maps, and so I never want to play the game.
Yeah,
You
that's
fucking
fair.
install it for 45 minutes and get in, desert map, leave,
Yeah, that's
desert
fair.
map, leave, desert map. All right, quit game, uninstall. 8 months later, same thing.
Maybe try it again. Yeah.
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 That doesn't work for me.
Yeah,
If
it
it's
doesn't work for
uninstalled,
me.
I'm not reinstalling it. Too much
Like,
time.
well, let's just put this into perspective. League has been out over 10 years. Same map. They've updated the graphics and maybe changed the look of things, but it has been the same map for 10 years because it works.
True. I think
Maybe
the most they change on those maps is usually like how like the camps work
the
and
biggest thing that they changed was
Yeah.
the camps. That's the only thing I can think of. Um, gosh, I'm trying to think way back. There's Dragon. I don't think Dragon always was a thing. I think it was only Baron.
Dragon was always a thing. Baron was always a thing, but there wasn't elemental dragons, nor the
Yeah, there weren't elemental.
yeah, there was none
There
of
was
that. We didn't have the bug in the
there's no river.
river. The the big frog-looking thing
The
over
Wraith?
by Blue, the Wraith. That it used to be the Wraith, where it was
We
like a little ghost.
we didn't used to have the giant rocks, the rock and the big rock and the smaller rock. Up the buff that's over by Red Buff. I'm trying to think of what I think
do
they're called
you-
crags.
What do you
Craws.
remember about it, Ryan?
Oh, those, yeah. What was it before? I can't even remember.
I have to look. It didn't used to be. I mean, they changed the jungle a lot. That's like the biggest thing that they've changed in League was the jungle.
It seems like
Yeah.
it's that kind of what, from what I understand. I'm obviously super new at the game and I'm awful at the game, but from what I understand from the jungle role is it's just that one role that can be freely changed that will affect the game. That will constantly affect the game and how it plays out. Because
Yeah.
the lanes, they have to be, you have to have two in the ADC lane, one in mid and one in solo, and those matchups will always be relatively similar depending on how items work and characters get buffed and nerfed, but relatively the matchups will always be very similar, right? From what I understand, the top lane is usually a tanky person, like that kind of all-around fighter in the team fights, the bruiser, but also can tank a little bit. Mid lane is kind of a damage dealer, and then bot lane is that like solid support and a solid damage, supposed to be. Obviously we know that that's not quite accurate anymore, but and then jungle is that role that it's really just about. It can be either somebody who completely just farms levels and stuff like that and tries to get ahead in levels and gets objectives, or it can be somebody who's very aggressive in lane pressuring and helping teammates push. So
Usually,
you
junglers are really mobile. They have some kind of mobility
yeah,
to catch people.
yeah, and so changing that role and how it can affect the map kind of seems to be what, from what I understand, Riot does and how they change their game. So I think it's an interesting small changes, but changes that are small, that are, even though they're small, they have a big impact. Something that I think a
Yeah.
lot of games don't do. A lot of games decide we're gonna revamp all of this. Like Call of Duty, what they did like in complete weapon rebalancing, right?
I think so.
Yeah,
Warzone?
and yeah,
They're
Warzone.
constantly changing weapon damage and
Yeah,
fall
yeah.
off, all of that.
I think maybe if they tried doing something similar to that style of changing things, where maybe if they made it just kind of a base value, maybe not like a base value for each weapon, but making all guns similar to what they should be, right? Like the FAL should be good for medium to long range as an assault rifle, but it shouldn't beat a sniper rifle. Same thing with like the M4. It should be good for medium to close range, but it shouldn't be better than like a P90 or something at close range, right? It should have like its kind of fitted area without being overpowered, but I think they haven't quite figured out how to do that yet.
I think COD's always had an issue with balancing weapons. And
Always.
there's been a reason that like the go-to for trick shotting and stuff like that, and just if you want to just get straight kills and you know how to do it and have the aim for it, you just play with a sniper.
Was it back in like Modern Warfare 2?
Modern Warfare 2 is the
3?
one that kind of like
Which
blew
one
up.
was the one that was like the MP7 was just like that was the go-to gun? Any of y'all remember which one that one was?
For my
I
I
mean,
think it's
there
been
was-
good in a few. Modern Warfare 3, I remember it was really good.
I think it was
when there was
3.
Black Ops 2 had the
Oh,
not the MX. What was the little?
no, I think you're right. I think it was the MX7.
The MX7 was the 3-round assault rifle. But what was the little SMG that everybody used?
I can't remember the name of it, but I remember what you're
I'm
talking about.
gonna have to go look it up now.
Yeah, so
It
you gotta
was
look at them.
it was almost like
And the 1887s, was that what it was? The shotguns, the dually shotguns, and was that Modern Warfare 2, I think? Yeah, bro. Everybody had that, and the akimbo Glocks and stuff. Like, it's true.
Oh,
There's always been like a set of weapons that it's like this is the go-to gun if you just want to frag out, bro.
lightweight pro, marathon pro, akimbo 1887s. That was so toxic.
That was the way to go, man. Yeah.
The only real game I played for COD like religiously was 3, and that was because I bought it myself. My parents were pretty strict about it, and I remember I used to use this slug shotgun religiously in Black Ops 3. I forget what it was, but it'd be like a one-shot kill from like 20 feet.
Oh, the KSG.
That's it, the cage.
That was in Black Ops 2 as well.
Yeah,
Black
I
Ops,
would
Black
say
Ops 2 had it was the MSMC was the
SMG.
SMG,
Oh
the little
yeah.
black SMG that just destroyed people at any kind of range.
Oh, I miss that gun.
It was
Okay, so then
delightful.
question off of that is comparing the games in the like that we used to play back in the days versus games now, which ones do you feel like performed gameplay wise better?
Back in the day or like now?
Both comparing back in the day to now, like old school COD to new school COD or
I would always
anything.
put the original Modern Warfare.
Modern
Like
Warfare, Modern Warfare
the
2.
original, yeah, the original Modern Warfares would be at the top of that list.
You think
Yeah.
so?
it's an
A
interesting
lot.
thing.
I think a lot of people agree with that though.
They were just good games. Like, I don't know if it was just lack of better out there, because I mean, we have a ton of options now with Tarkov, Deadside, Arma, COD, all of those different shooter games. They bring a different atmosphere, a different play style. Even Hunt Showdown, you've got that horror aspect and fighting monsters and old times with fucking bolt action Winchesters and single shot shotguns.
True.
It's
It's
also
just
probably a matter of internet, or not internet, but like the Twitter and Facebook and Reddit. Those are all so much more advanced now than they were. So there's this constant place where devs and members of those teams can go to like siphon through information. People being like, I mean, Twitch even places where they can just constantly see that gameplay. Like Twitch wasn't a thing back when Modern Warfare was a thing.
True.
There's no
it was
place
all YouTube.
Yeah, it
where
was
you
all
could
about
watch
posting your
gameplay.
clips. Yeah.
There's no place you could actively watch gameplay and be like, okay, this is really dumb. This gun is super broken, and then you can
Yeah.
post about it. Now it's, I mean, you be like, you look at Twitter and you look up like a hashtag for the game, and all of a sudden there's just tons and tons and tons of posts of like, what the fuck? Why is this so broken? What, can you guys figure this out? And then it's just there's a lot more. There's an attune part of it that the devs can constantly reach these
You know,
people.
my other question too is, you say that like original Modern Warfare and the Modern Warfare 2 were definitely like at the top of your list. But the question that comes in is it just a factor of nostalgia that's making it up there, or do you like if we were to compare like the remastered COD, right? The remastered Modern Warfare 2, right? I think is what they did. I'm assuming they kept pretty much everything the same except for updating graphics, right? So if we were to compare that one with like the new COD that just came out, you know, Warzone and all with the Warzone and all that stuff, is it really better than Warzone fundamentally, or was it just because like you guys all just said, you know, is it just because we didn't have the tools and therefore, you know, we
I
couldn't, you know,
I think it's a little bit of everything. I mean, I would agree with the fact that yes, we didn't have the tools that we have today to be able to, report issues or to say, this gun's broken, we should do something about this, the devs need to do this, yada yada yada. But I also felt like the original Modern Warfares were continuously solid. Like there was never a time where you got into the game and you're like, "Oh my god, this thing is completely broken." Like maybe that's just me, but I never had a time that was ever the case. I mean, you might get, a noob tube that may blow up, half your team in one shot, but other than that, like there was no gun that everybody was just like every single person uses the same gun because that's the gun to use to get all the kills.
Yeah, there was always a mix.
Yeah.
it's true.
That was what was fun about it. It wasn't just M4s and snipers or M4s and shotguns.
I
Yeah,
do
you could go
remember
across.
the old COD. I was the 2 to 3 guns that I like always used was I think it was the FAL, but it wasn't the FAL in that game. It was like something else, but it was that single fire gun. I use that all the time, and not other people use that, and that was just because I had a super fast trigger finger, and so like I could put a whole mag down range, and like before somebody got like 5 or 6 shots off with an M4. And then I really liked in Modern Warfare 2, I think it was 2. They had that triple burst AR, it was like the M16 something, and I loved that one, man, for hardcore because that would just shred people.
Man, the
But yeah.
FAMAS in Modern Warfare 2 was so good.
hmm I think that is one thing that I do miss that a lot of FPS games now don't seem to have, is they don't seem to have that you can use any weapon and any weapon is really viable, you know. Whereas And you get something like Siege, which is, yeah, there's a lot of different weapons, but you're forced to use one weapon depending on the operator. And COD, the new COD anyway, it is very much like we went through an M4, then to the Growl, and then it was kind of like a small period of where like people
Mix
were
of
figuring it out.
M13.
Yeah, M13 and like FAL and stuff, and then the Bruin just like completely plowed through everything once people figured that one out.
Yep.
And then so since then, it has definitely been like a one gun leads the way type situation, unfortunately. So I do agree with that statement actually, that the old ones, I think they are a little fundamentally better built.
It's almost like they were balanced.
Almost. You're getting into dangerous territory there, my friend. Dangerous territory talking about balancing here.
Oh my gosh.
Don't even get me and Nelly started on balancing. Holy crap.
The nostalgia that we were talking about earlier maybe have come from the fact that those games were kind of new to us. That whole
That is something I think about.
Yeah.
and now you have all these different games now that you. I mean, how many COD games have there been since the first Modern Warfare? And what don't they swap between like Infinity Ward and
Treyarch.
Activision Treyarch
Every year.
Treyarch, yeah.
every year? So that's
Treyarch and Infinity.
When did Infinity? When did Modern Warfare come out? Like 2007, 2008?
The
Old.
original Modern Warfare?
Yeah.
Looking it up.
Yeah.
I think it was either 2007 or 2008. But I mean that's
It was 2009.
2009.
So it's been 11 years. Oh wait, no, that's Modern Warfare 2. Sorry. Modern Warfare 1.
Call of Duty
that
4 Modern Warfare?
was-
2007?
2007.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty old, man.
So that's a lot of games.
Relatively for, I mean, there was a solid jump in like performance and the way games were made and like what was coming out to players, I think around maybe 2010, 2012 in that time frame.
Yeah,
If you look at games before like 2010, they're all,
I think Black Ops 3 came out in 2012.
yeah, they feel the same, right? Like if you play an FPS game, it relatively kind of feels similar to a lot of other shooter games. And then once we hit like 2012 to 2014 timeframe, like then they really just started going off on their own branches, you know?
Well, it's because the technology changed.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you go that many years, the technology is going to change, the engines change. I mean, the new Unreal engines and all the crap that's coming out, and all the people that are dedicated to that, like, it's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I have to agree with that. It was a lot of fun stuff. I do remember you talk about, you know, the games being new to us, and you know, I think about it too is a lot of the games that I buy today are still just series, like games in a series of games that I have played. Like obviously like Call of Duty. I wanted Call of Duty to die for the longest time, bro. And then it wasn't until like, what was the most Blackout that came out or whatever it was?
Blackout.
Yeah, Blackout. And then that was like the first Call of Duty that I actually like rebought since Modern Warfare 2. Like I hadn't bought any of them because I was like, dude, this series just needs to die, man. I was like, it is overdone and overplayed. So Blackout, I kind of got back into it, but then there's new Modern Warfare. Siege is probably the only new FPS game that I've really bought into, I think. Because then there's Halo. I mean, Halo's, I mean, it's the remastered versions, but Halo, I mean, I played Halo back in the day, so it's not anything new. Like I'm going into these games kind of knowing what to expect. Same with the, you know, Gears of War series. So I think about that, and there's not really any new FPSs that are coming out.
Yeah, makes you think about Anthem and how psyched everybody was for years to come, and then as soon as it dropped, it was just
A flop.
awful.
Yeah. Oh my god, I remember Mello pushing me so hard to get that, and I was like, I don't think it's gonna do well, and it just flopped, bro.
It slumped. There have been
Yeah.
games that have had really poor releases and somehow managed to. I mean, what's it called?
Fortnite.
We played what was it? Turtle and I played it a few months ago for a little bit. I think it was a day actually. What's that space game, Turtle?
No Man's Sky.
That's it.
That
game
Oh God.
That game had a terrible release. It was just full of riddled with lies and bugs and stuff like that. And
yeah.
It's actually
that
not
one-
bad now.
it's not bad now.
With all the updates, everything they've done, it's actually not bad.
I think it's actually quite enjoyable, honestly. But that game at launch was barren. It was so much worse. Like there was no base building, there was no multiplayer, there was no base end game story or anything that you were working towards. It was like grinding new planets. Like
This
congrats,
is
found a
topic
new
for
planet.
topic for the next video. Actually, we'll talk about it. Is those kinds of games is the definition of an alpha, beta, and like early access and full release games, and what that entails. Because obviously, talk about like No Man's Sky when it was released and there was nothing in it, and it's like, well, was that a full release game or was that an alpha that they released? Versus like Call of Duty, you get on a disc, and Call of Duty was a full game. There's campaign, there's the special ops missions, there's zombies, and then there's multiplayer as well.
I think players are expecting more these days now than they were before they used to.
That's because they're not selling them to kids anymore. If we're gonna pay $60 for a game, like we want to put at least 60 hours into it, I would imagine. I'm not buying a $60 game for a 13-hour campaign because, I mean, that's a waste of money. I'm not gonna play that again unless there's a possibility of multiple endings.
Or multiplayer.
And
Yeah.
that takes a lot of effort to make a campaign with multiple endings too.
Yeah, and yeah, there's several different ways of going about actually that little path diversion of what triggers what event. And I don't know, it's hard to go through the same game. Like, unless you have a completely different way of going through that campaign, I probably won't want to play it again.
I'd
Like,
say
that's why I play Skyrim over and over and over again.
I'd
'Cause
say
no
one
matter how you
game
do it.
that one game that did that campaign that you're kind of talking about, of that like replayability without actually having to do multiple different ending types, was Infamous, being able to do good or bad. So
Yeah.
it was like same relative campaign, but you could choose between being good or bad or kind of neutral in between, and that gave you a little bit of replayability and made it easier for the devs without actually having to spend more money to like make a whole bunch of different endings for the game.
Yeah.
But
The new Gears has multiple endings.
it's true,
Gears
it
of War?
does.
Mm-hmm.
The fifth one? I think that's what the next one is right now.
Yeah.
I never played it. I think I played. Actually, I played it. I played 2 story missions and I got bored.
That's how I was on 4. I have not played since 3.
I never got into Gears.
It's because it's been the same game every time.
Well, it
Like
just
Madden.
feels like
I-
horde
It's
mode.
like Madden.
Yeah. I don't know. I honestly don't know how Madden and FIFA are always so successful. Every time I see them, I'm like, bro, they
NBA.
just update players, bro. They just update players.
player
That's
updates,
all it
yeah.
is. Yeah. That's all it is. I'm like, you could just make it one game and then
I watched
update it
your-
every 5 years and just have
That
DLC
wouldn't
for
make
it.
them $60 a year.
The funny thing is, I saw a video the other day of Madden, and it was 18, 19, 20, and 21 all in the same screen at the same like shot in every single game. It had the exact same team animation, the exact same coach. The ground was like updated, so like the graphics were a little bit better. The scoreboard changed, but the exact and like the same animations and everything was still there. It's crazy.
Yeah. I don't know how people can play that, man. That'd be like, if I was honestly a fan of sports, I'd buy that game maybe once every like 5 years, maybe.
Game broke,
Yeah.
don't fix it.
That's the thing. You unless you're playing by yourself, you can't. Those games, they get outdated after probably 2 years, and then there's just like either no servers or no player base because everybody upgrades.
I played Biggs a ton.
Yeah, that's true.
Biggs 2? I love Biggs 2.
What is
You know what
Biggs
Biggs
2?
2 is?
Uh-uh.
It's
I
like
don't.
it was like baseball, but stupid. So basically, like you
But
could give like
stupid.
you'd get if you were batting, there'd be like a sweet spot that you want to hit, and if they pitch it right in your sweet spot, the ball will like magnetize towards the sky like a touch like a home run, and then you can have players like special players, and they'll jump 20 feet in the air and catch the ball. It was like superhero baseball. That's like what the best way to explain it. Like pitchers
Yeah, okay.
that'll burn the mid.
The only-
It's
The only sports games that I want to see come back are NFL Blitz and NBA Jam. Those are the only two. Those are the only two. Those are the only two that I really care about.
Trying to find the name of this game, but what was the name of this game? Backyard Baseball, bro.
Yes, I was gonna ask about that. Those
Backyard.
games, backyard baseball, backyard basketball, soccer. Fuck. Those were childhood
baseball
memories.
on the Game Boy, bro. You remember the character
Game
named
Boy?
Pablo? Yeah.
Oh, of course
you
I
me-
remember Pablo.
I love that you can bring up Pablo and everybody knows him, bro. Everybody's like, oh yeah, Pablo.
Dude, Pablo was a hard hitter.
The man who could get you a home run, bro. Yeah, I remember that. That was
you-
you
You
knew
look it up.
what-
You like
Yeah,
front page-
I literally, to find the game, I literally typed in Pablo baseball Game Boy. And it literally brought up the game and him and his
Look at
stats
that
and his Pablo
smug dude.
Sanchez. Look at his tall hat too, man. His smug face and everything. That man knows, bro. That man knows he's the best one
I
there.
played a shit ton of backyard basketball.
Oh man, I love that though.
I remember going down the street to a friend's house just about every day, getting on their computer and playing backyard baseball.
I
The
didn't have an Xbox, and I used to do that with my friend who lived down the street from me. I'd go over there and plug in cheat codes and stuff and play video games all day. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I started
Yeah.
with RuneScape actually.
Came out in 2001.
Backyard baseball or
Backyard
soccer?
basketball.
Basketball. That's what you said. Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, really. 2001.
When did backyard
Damn.
basketball? 1997.
No way.
Baseball. Dang, man, that was old.
They were
Well, that's
so
like-
simplistic.
But they
Yeah.
were so good though.
For back then when we were 6, 7 years old.
When you didn't know much and you were like, A, B.
I used to play Pajama Sam.
Oh God, 6 or 7.
You remember Pajama Sam?
All right, Turtle, don't bring up the age. We know you're a dad.
Well, it's 3 boys, 1 dad. I never actually played Pajama Sam. Now that I'm looking
used
at
to
it,
play
I've never
this
played that.
game a ton. It was like a puzzle game almost.
Yeah.
I mean,
it looks
Earthworm
like it.
Jim. It's the same thing, right?
There's been a lot of those Earthworm type games. They're like Worms. Like Worms is the one where you play against each other and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. Those are always funny to watch if you get like a really funny group that plays it. Yeah, man, I tell you, man, games back in the day, you go back and you realize how simplistic they were, but you're like, man, this is like the shit back in the day, bro. I remember that.
One thing that really gets me now is Gears. Or not Gears, sorry, God of War. When you
love the
look
old
back
ones.
at God of War 1, 2, it is so fucking different. Everything about it, it does not feel like the same game. And I am
Yeah.
all for it. I love the new one. I think it was made phenomenally. The storyline is incredible. I just hate boy. He is so fucking
Boy.
smug.
The
He's
opposite-
such
Yeah,
a piece
boy.
of shit.
The opposite for me goes for Battlefront. The original
Like Star
Battlefront
Wars?
1 and Battlefront 2 Star Wars.
I like the old
Dude.
I
ones.
felt were so much
I thought
fun.
the Conquest campaign was always so much fun to do.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, like trying to take over the worlds while the AI was taking over ones you had already had, and you're like, damn, this fight, man. Constantly trying to outplay the AI and stuff. Yeah, those are good times.
Yeah,
Very
I enjoy
good
that one a lot more
times.
than the paywall that the new ones are.
Are the new ones are they under EA?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that explains that. I
I think the
remember
old
that.
ones were too.
Because EA owns everything.
That's true. They pretty much. I remember the I don't remember what Star Wars it was. I don't think it's the most recent one. It's one of the more recent ones though, where they tried to do that loot box stuff, and man, it was that huge backlash against EA for a while.
It's Battlefront 2.
Was it
The
Battlefront
newest
2?
one. Yeah, it's the
Okay.
newest.
Yeah, dude, that backfired on them hard.
Shit, we could probably do an entire episode on that alone.
We probably should. Honestly, I'd be okay with it. You know, if anybody, I don't know, if people in the comments want to leave anything if they watch this far, but I mean, if they got, I had some people tell me, I had a CEO of a writing company and somebody else write back to me on LinkedIn and give me some stuff to talk about, that they were like, oh, we'd be interested in this if you guys talked about that. This episode actually went on a lot longer than I was intending. I honestly thought it was just gonna be
Yeah,
kind
I
of
was about to say something.
Yeah, no, we're almost at 50 minutes here, so we could wrap it up pretty quick. But I was honestly just anticipating this one being a setup, but turned out pretty well.
Yeah, we've had no real major plot. It kind of divulged into.
I mean,
what-
isn't that what this is supposed to be?
Well, it's word vomit, dude.
Yeah.
So
Doesn't matter.
this is 3 boys and 1 dad.
I think that's the agreed upon name. Yeah. Oh my god, my mom. I sent that to my mom and she laughed at it. She's like, I really like that
Three
actually.
B's, 1D.
3
3B,
Ds,
1D.
3 Bs, 1 D.
Yeah.
Alright, I think are we calling it?
Unless anybody has any final remarks. No. No. All right.
Got
If
nothing.
anybody has watched this far into the YouTube video, one, I'm impressed, and two, if you guys have any suggestions on topics that you'd like to hear us word vomit on, feel free to leave it in the comments. I'm actually going to put a link in the Discord as well too. I think I'm going to do this Discord until we decide to reopen the NRT one or anything. I'll put a link to this one, and people can just put. I'll make a channel for suggestions and stuff like that. So, other than that, I think that's it.